Carter here. It always freaks me out when people ask me on social media about vehicles that I don't even know how they know that I own. And one of those is this truck right here, which is my 99 Dodge V10 4x4. And enough people have asked me about what's going on with that thing that I figured I'd do an extra telling you a little bit about it, because there it is in all its derelict goodness. So to begin with, as I said, it's a 99 model. It's a V10, 488 cubic inch, 8-liter motor. It's a 5-speed, it's 4-wheel drive. I custom ordered this truck and bought it brand new, which happened right when Robert E. Peterson sold the publishing company that I was working for, that I still work for. And a lot of us who had been working there for a while were fully vested, and we got a cash buyout, and I used the money that I got from that to walk straight into the Dodge dealership and hand them cash and buy this truck. Probably the stupidest thing I've ever done. I should have invested it or saved it, but I bought the thing, and it was cheap with my special good guy deal. I think it was like 22 grand, and like you can't even buy a new truck for that these days. Have you noticed how every new big full-size truck is like 50 grand up? Well, for that reason, I'm going to have to revive this thing, because it's really good. It's been sitting here derelict and broken for a while, but let me take you on a quick tour of it. It still only has about 100,000 miles on it because it sat for a long time in my driveway. There was a time when I was four-wheeling really fast down a dirt road, and I hit a rock with the left front tire and twisted the sector shaft in the steering box, and I hobbled the thing home, and it sat for like 5 or 6 years, and I never got around to fixing it. And then, most recently, it sat here for 3 or 4 years because I went to install an aftermarket front panhard bar, and the kit was wrong, and it didn't fit, and I had to custom fabricate one, and I only just last week got around to actually fixing that. So it's got a cam back top on it, which I put on for my honeymoon. My wife and I took this on our honeymoon and camped in the back of it. Cam back, unfortunately, was already out of business at the time that Fred Williams from 4 Wheel and Off-Road and Dirt Every Day got me hooked up with the guy, and I was able to buy one of his very last ones. This thing is super cool, but after what is now 11 years of sitting out in the sun, you can see that it is completely destroyed. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find somebody who can make a new fabric for this or not, but I really like this better than a camper shell. There's some good Roadkill trivia sitting in the back here. This engine is a 400 cubic inch big block Chrysler that was in the 73 Plymouth Fury that we ran in the 24 Hours of Lemons race, and that we then parted out on the episode when we built the General Mayhem 68 Charger. And actually that transmission is a leftover from that too. I think that's the blown up transmission that we took out of General Mayhem when we installed the one that was in the Fury. So that's how long this has been sitting there. When did we do that episode? Like 3 or 4 years ago? The engine sat around in my buddy Rob's backyard for a couple years, and then he made me come get it, and so it's still there because I haven't had time to deal with it. That's how my life goes. The first mod I ever made to this thing was, it's got MagnaFlow diesel exhaust on it. David Kennedy was the editor of, no, he was working as a staffer on 4 Wheel and Off-Road magazine at the time, and he needed a truck to do a MagnaFlow story with to see if exhaust made power. And all they had was the diesel exhaust for this truck, which they put on this thing, and it's really loud. Really, really loud. But it picked up like 1 mile per gallon. It gets like 11, and so that was pretty good. It has, what size tires on it? This thing is stock in the back. It's got no suspension mod. This tire is a 315/70/17 on a 17x8 Krager soft 8 wheel. I always put progressively taller tires on this thing. These ones I actually traded to Rick Payway for a flat fender Jeep body that I had. That's how I got these tires. And that's a BFG all-terrain. I had to custom order it partially because it's really, really hard to find one of these things at the time in '99 with a factory 5-speed. It's an NV 4500 New Venture transmission with a really low first gear and an overdrive 5th gear, and I really wanted that for towing and stuff like that. So that's part of the reason I custom ordered it. The other is to get this camel color interior. All the ones that were on the lot had the gray interior that I didn't really want. But take a close look at that dashboard, and unfortunately one of the big problems with these trucks is that the dash is rotted in the sun and crumbled inside and fell apart. There's this company that makes this plastic overlay that you can put on it that's a little cheesy, but it looks way better than it did before. But unfortunately, when you drive the truck, you can hear all sorts of plastic falling down behind the dash all the time. It's the worst thing about this era of Dodge truck. And you can see my instrument cluster is also cracked there, and I've got to get around to fixing that. Up front, I ended up putting in a, what is it? It's not a super lift. It's a skyjacker coil spring in the front.